April Diary Poems, Family, War, Metaphor. On Monday, I spoke to our daughters, and a reflection on family relationships followed. Daughters. How to balance our love for two daughters, who in private maintain a jealous account of whichever is granted an hour of more time. It can't be achieved by stopwatch or money. Equity is not measured by hours or expense, but the depth of attention and the reason it's given. So A may require a fortnight-long visit, and C just the briefest of calls. Or C has run out of money, while A has enough to get by. And the judgment should be how they fare over years. But there is never agreement or a settled result, just a process of trying to juggle the demands of two women, which I guess will endure for the rest of our lives. On Tuesday, I went to the dentist for some serious treatment, and there followed a reflection on the so-called wonders of our body. Tuesday, Hamlet. I played Polonius once, and from the darkness of the wings I heard Prince Hamlet nightly speak that well-known set of lines, "Oh, what a piece of work is man," or words to that effect, and nightly shook my head in doubt. It's not the way I think. I've watched my wife and daughters face the risks of giving birth, and I take a row of coloured pills for several minor ills, and I apply a shelf of oils each night, and a pharmacy of creams, to feet and face and hands, in case my skin begins to peel. It's not that I'm a fan of an endless perfect life. I would hate it if I didn't own a quick escape through death. But I also cannot bear it when some people praise our fate, since, as Hamlet later said, our role is fattening worms. On Wednesday, I considered the echoes between the vicious invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the constitutional troubles of the United Kingdom. Wednesday, near and far. From afar, we hear the sound of constant shelling as Russians kick their name towards a savage past, with sieges, rapes, and murder at a general's diktat. So now we understand that rules amount to nothing, and the one who is most brutal wins the world. While near at hand, we hear the sound of parties, as oafish leaders dance and toast the passive folk who let them fib and rip up all protections. Again we see that rules will count for nothing, and the one who is most brazen stays on top. Both near and far, the guardrails have been broken through conscious acts to keep us hesitant and weak. Of course I know that Russia's much more monstrous, since actual war outbids a hollowed constitution. But near and far, we see that rules keep flowing to the past. On Thursday, I wrote about our grandchildren who have been visiting. Thursday, grandkids. I had lunch with the 6-year-old twice in a row, on a restaurant terrace, on a bench in the park, and can now not recall a word that we said, but savour the friendship that shrugged off the years. The baby turned up his head at an uncomfortable angle, so he could gaze through the hood of his pushchair and watch me as we walked through the streets to the park, while we traded short looks of inexpressible love. The grandkids are not like kids, since a second group's involved, with the build and genes of people rarely met. So it's more like hugging strangers every day, with flashes here and there of parents long since dead. On Friday, I reflected on the relationship between my lifestyle and the search for answers to the working of the world. Friday, metaphor. Like philosopher Kant, I choose to live a disciplined life, where work and meals and sleep occur at prearranged times. And like the biblical Moses, I strike at barren rocks, in the hope that new ideas will gush into my desert mind. I never perceive the world without a model at hand, into which many parts will fit like clockwork or music. And when I walk at 4 o'clock, I search for suitable forms, trusting that if my habits are dull, the thoughts will somehow be rich. Yet I have a nagging concern that the world is an exceptional trick, which won't be compared to other things, disappearing beyond my reach. So my 4 o'clock walk is a treadmill, going round and round for years, with me as a metaphor for pointless, while the world's an unknowable tease.